WNJM 89.9 Manahawkin, and WNJS FM 88.1 Berlin. And listen for an all-new Voices in the Family tomorrow at noon. I'm Robin Bloom. Good morning, and thanks for listening. Stay with us for Being with Krista Tippett next at 7 o'clock.
Marilyn Robinson is an acclaimed novelist with a passionate interest in science. Marcelo Gleiser is an astrophysicist, steeped in science's grandeur and its limits. We explore fiction writing and physics as kindred pursuits and the mystery we are.
I think one of the things that is fascinating is that human beings describe themselves, and every new epic is a new description of what human beings are. Every life is a new description. Every work of science, every object of art is new information. And it is inconceivable at this point that we could say anything final about what the human mind is, because it is demonstrating in beautiful ways, in terrifying ways, that it will surprise us over and over and over again.
I'm Krista Tippett, and this is On Being. Stay with us.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. In the storm-damaged section of Far Rockaway, Queens, workers rip up the floor in a flood-damaged home. Carol Harry lives in Far Rockaway. She was able to return to her home this weekend for the first time since Superstorm Sandy hit.
I got a little stuff done today to pick up for my house, like water. I had no water, no toilet paper, no bleach, nothing. Nobody don't stop at my door and tell me nothing. I knows nothing.
There's still much to do 2 weeks after the storm and the nor'easter that followed, but New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg has announced a program aimed at speeding up repairs to homes. He says starting Tuesday, New Yorkers whose homes were damaged can go to a city restoration center to get a Federal Emergency Management Agency number and sign up for FEMA help. Some New Jersey residents also went home this weekend for the first time. NPR's Allison Keyes reports that others got some help from people who understand what's going on.
They call it the Train of Hope. It carried more than 5 tons of everything from toothbrushes and blankets to red beans and pet food from Slidell, Louisiana, where residents were hit by a massive storm surge from Hurricane Katrina. Meantime, on the Jersey Shore, residents on Long Beach Island returned to severe damage. Jen Herrera told 1010 Winds.
It's hard to prepare for the devastation that occurred on the island.
And Steve Kramer told NBC he had a lot of water damage.
All the rugs were damaged, the couches, the beds, everything.
As New Jerseyans contemplate the massive cleanup, more supplies are set to arrive from Louisiana on Sunday. Allison Keyes, NPR News.
Officials say the power could be back on in New Jersey by the end of the weekend for most, but it's a different story on New York's Long Island. Residents demonstrated this weekend outside an office at the utility that serves the area. New York's governor has been critical of efforts to get the electricity back on. 2 smartphone competitors have agreed to stop suing each other over patents. NPR's Jim Hawk reports on a wide-ranging licensing agreement.
Awesome. The legal dispute began in March of 2010 when Apple filed a complaint against HTC, claiming the Taiwan-based company violated 10 Apple patents. 2 months later, HTC accused Apple of violating 5 of its own patents. In the first settlement between Apple and the maker of Android smartphones, all current lawsuits will end. The chief executives of Apple and HTC issuing statements welcoming the settlement, which includes a 10-year joint licensing agreement for all current and future patents from both companies. HTC's chief executive said his company is pleased to have resolved its dispute with Apple, so HTC can focus on innovation instead of litigation. The financial terms of the Apple-HTC settlement were not released. Jim Hawk, NPR News.
And you're listening to NPR News from Washington. Authorities in Indianapolis Police are conducting a house-to-house search in a neighborhood that was rocked by a powerful blast last night. One body has been recovered and 2 people hospitalized with minor injuries. The blast leveled at least 2 homes and set 2 others on fire. Pam Brainerd lives there, and she says it looks like a war zone.
I walked out to the end of my driveway and I could see the entire house. It just was engulfed. I saw it take 3 houses, and the firemen were working very hard to keep it from spreading.
The explosion was heard for miles around and forced about 200 people from the neighborhood. There's no word on a cause, but investigators expect to get a better idea of what happened this morning. They'll be out looking for clues. Meanwhile, all power, gas, and other utilities have been shut off to the neighborhood. It is Veterans Day weekend. Celebrations honoring the men and women who served in uniform will last through tomorrow. As NPR's Susanna George reports.
In Washington, D.C., crowds shuffled through the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Saturday as the names of 58,000 people on the wall were read over a loudspeaker. In New Orleans, at the World War II Museum, women knitted scarves to commemorate the 1940s homefront efforts that gave troops socks and sweaters. President Obama attends a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns, and in New York, thousands are expected to turn out for the city's Veterans Day Parade. Participants will also collect donations for the victims of Superstorm Sandy. This is the first Veterans Day since the end of the Iraq War and the 200th anniversary of the War of 1812. Susanna George, NPR News.
And I'm Giles Snyder in Washington.
Support for NPR comes from the George Lucas Educational Foundation, creator of Edutopia, a source for what works in education. Learn more at edutopia.org.
Graduate Studies in the Arts and Sciences at St. Joseph's University proudly supports WHYY and offers flexible master's programs in computer science, educational leadership, special education, theology and society, and writing studies. The spring 2013 semester starts January 14th. Details at sju.edu/apply now to learn more. Graduate Studies at St. Joseph's University. Live greater.
And that's that.